Nice background there, Abidel.
Thank you.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to Lunch and Learn Zoom Fridays. On behalf of Nancy Gaskins and myself, we love to welcome you each Friday to check in and hang out and also just discuss trending business topics of the day. Welcome to our visitor, Stacy, and thank you, Jessica, for referring her to us today. It's so nice to see fresh people, and we love our members too. Not that you're not fresh.
I know. Where is everybody? We have like 50 or members or more. Where we have to start harassing them via email or something. Where the heck did they go?
Well, November and December, I feel like are just really accelerating months. I mean, there's a summit every day. Kate and I are in a summit next week. And so I think people are really, just tied up with that and, family, travel, holidays. It's really just a happening time. So we appreciate anyone who can join and also anyone who can catch the replay. So that's why we record this. So normally, just to kind of give Stacy an overview of what we do, we gather together and we like to focus on a different theme of the week. So for example, this is the first week of November. And so we'll be talking today about JVs and collaborations and barter. So I will be picking your brain about Viology in just a minute, actually, because it ties in well with our topic. The second week, we talk about tools, tips, and resources. The discussion came up today about green screens and, just apps or new technology, new software programs, or anything that's going to help your business thrive. And then week 3, we go into our elevator pitches. So it's really important now when we're doing these online business networking events to have a snazzy elevator pitch. That's something that's memorable, something that's short and sweet that people would be intrigued and follow up with you. And then lastly, the 4th week, we go through relationship marketing. So this Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday has been a project of Nancy and I since May 2020. And it's just incredible to get to know each and every one of you on a consistent basis and on a real personal relationship, not just the business, relationship, but, from a personal level, we know about you and your families, and we get to celebrate certain life milestones with you as well. So that's really, really special to us. So welcome. So you're in for a treat. And I'd like to start off, before we dive into our topic about collaborations, any special wins, right? Any wins or anything that you would like us to celebrate with you at this time? And please feel free to put those in the chat with us as well.
Well, I did also just join Viology, and so I'm excited about that. And then doing lots of joint venture stuff. Actually, I just taught 2 classes yesterday. I'm on several summits coming up. So, all that jazz, right?
Fantastic. Awesome. Stacy was commenting earlier how she chases you around online and you chase her as well.
I couldn't remember where we met either, for sure. So I think it was Playhouse, probably. It might not have been.
Anyone else want to celebrate a win?
My business quadrupled in the month of October.
For October?
For October, it blossomed 4 times.
Nice. Wow.
Hey.
What blossomed 4 times? You were missing. I was missing that.
My business.
Oh,
My business. Tech Assist.
Right on.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I see you around too, Abby, on Selling on the Spot, so you're really out there promoting yourselves and your business. So that is wonderful. Wonderful to see that. I'll share, I'm working with Michelle Drake. She is one of our fellow Eagles, and she has this fantastic challenge that's going on called Master Habits. And what we do is it's this app, and we post 3 wins a day, and it's called the Wall of Wins. And it's so cool because we're recognizing wins, whether big or small, doesn't matter. It's a win for you. And then we get to see what other people are posting. And it's just like you're training your brain to actively look for those wins anywhere you can. And it's just a really positive shift, to be able to focus on that throughout the day. And I love that wall of wins.
Yes, mine has been, I've got 6 consistent. This is my 3rd week of going live Monday through Friday, every day. And those have been repurposed into podcasts. So I have 16 new podcasts in the last month.
Are these podcasts that
Nice.
you're hosting? 16?
I've gone live 16 different days, like, so Monday through Friday, 5 days in a row for 3 weeks, plus one extra day. And so then I've repurposed all of those into, so I have 16 new podcast episodes from those lives.
Nice. Awesome. And
Are
there's the
these,
word again.
are these solo podcasts or interview podcasts?
They're a little bit of both. I'm using a new app called Wisdom, that's super fun. And it allows you to put the your talks that you do are in it, but then you can repurpose them. You can download them and then repurpose them. So that's what I've been doing is repurposing the
I'll have to check that out
Uh,
because I'm
the-
using Anchor
I'm
for
sorry.
my podcast. I'm using Anchor,
Oh, okay.
anchor.fm.
Uh-huh.
So I'll check out the what the difference is between what you've got and what I've got.
Yeah, I recorded on I've been going live on Wisdom, but then I repurpose it through a software that I resell called Bcast.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and she forgot to tell you the best part, the Wisdom app pays you. So Nancy would
Yeah.
love to hear about that, sure, I'm sure too, because the apps are starting to catch on and give you points for creating content. Explain that part, Stacy. You missed the best part.
Yeah, you get so one of the things I did, and I would suggest anybody, before you even do your first talk over there, sign up to get a top mentor badge. Because I signed up before I even did a talk, and then 3 days later, after I did my first 3 talks, boom, I had a top mentor badge. And I got extra points for that. So you get so many mentor coins or points a day, or points for going live. And then you can, after you rack those up, you can either turn them in for a gift card, or you can donate that money to a charity through the app. And it's very similar to Clubhouse. It's a audio only app. And then you can have, you know how in Clubhouse people are fighting for the microphone. In this, you have 2 people. You have yourself and you bring one other person up, and then you have your audience. So I'll probably be going live right after this. I'll probably do my Find Your Formula Friday right after we get done here.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. And I
Maybe you could do a lunch and learn shout out when you're
I'd be
on.
happy to do a lunch and learn shout out. Heck yeah.
Fantastic. And I love a key word you mentioned just now, Stacey, about repurposing. Yes,
Mhm.
right. So
Yep.
there's so much material that all of you have, and so just be mindful that you can take snippets and clips and splice it and dice it to put onto
yeah.
social media posts or graphics, etc. Yeah. So have it just, be evergreen, right? That's another key word, be evergreen. So it's always, at top.
And the more you create, the more you can slice, dice, and put out.
Indeed. Yeah. Incredible. Awesome. All right. Well, let's move into our collaborations topic. This would be a great time to just discuss, anything that you feel will be conducive to like a bartering relationship. We talk about bartering, how to make that work, trading for services or trading for time. And then, setting up collaboration projects, etc. So I like to start because you may have remembered Kathy Nesbitt. Kathy is, she was one of our first members of Lunch and Learn last year, and she's involved in a different project now. But, when I first met Kathy, I learned about her through her warm composting business. And then I also learned that she was a laughter yoga teacher. And I never thought like laughter yoga was a thing. Like, what? And I was so intrigued, and I, kept in touch with her. I went to her laughter yoga clubs online, and then I asked her to, train me to become certified just like her. And so that happened February this year. And it's been amazing. just to be mentored by her. And I live in Jacksonville, so I actually do teach laughter yoga, outdoors at the Jacksonville Botanical Gardens. And just this past Thursday, I launched my first online club. So yeah, so
Wow.
now I have my own online laughter yoga on Zoom, and it's Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm really, really excited to see again, the partnership didn't happen overnight. It was something that was ongoing. It took time to nurture and cultivate, and she's a really big help with my launch there. So yeah, so that is my collaboration story. And how about any of you? What?
That's so exciting, Olivia. I'm so happy for you. I think that's fantastic. And I can totally see you doing that. You
Yep.
have to get someone to take photographs, a really good photograph of you at the Botanical Gardens doing the Laughing Yoga Live to post online, because I think that would be huge.
Thank
And
you.
I think Stacy and Abidel would be really great collaboration partners, because Stacy's brilliant in the world of technology and softwares. And I bet there's a lot of like complementary stuff you guys could do.
And I'm pretty sure we've actually been in a room together. You look familiar, Abidel.
Yes, we've been in a room together somewhere.
Yeah. I can't remember where, but
Can I?
the world's getting smaller and larger at the same time.
For
That was
sure.
excellent recommendation, Jessica, to maybe match up Abidel and Stacy. How about any of you? Is there anyone that you would like to partner up with, or anyone that you can think of for each other that might be a good partner? I think
Actually,
one time
Kelly,
we talked about, yeah, I think one time we had mentioned about Kelly and Claudio, right? Kelly is related to finance, and Claudio, you're in that crypto space. And so people would need to know how to, manage their crypto from a financial point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. There's
I was
still there's a lot of question marks there still. A lot of
And
people are still unsure.
Yeah, and because of all of the new things that they're doing in the States on the whole tax implication side of things, because they're trying to rope in all that money that's being made, and they just want their piece of it, right? So
Yeah.
that could be really powerful collaboration.
And Kelly, I actually have someone remind me in probably like 2 or 3 weeks, will be perfect timing to introduce you to. He's someone in the finance space that my husband and I are doing a lot of work with, and he would be a great resource and referral partner for you, I think.
All right. 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we should definitely connect, Kelly, and see if we can figure out some way of being able to work together.
Sure.
I think sometimes the easiest collaboration is just to, put together like a workshop or interview each other for a podcast, right? And
Yeah.
so you can bring Kelly to your audience, Claudio, because you've got quite a group, and then just say, hey, just these are some new terms or things that we have to be aware of. And then vice versa, Kelly, because you work with some, really high profile people who are looking for those kind of like one of a kind investments, maybe bringing Claudio in to do a presentation.
I could probably, I don't have a huge team, especially in the US, but I do have my upline that do have a number of people in the US. So maybe we can try to put some kind of a seminar together, and you can speak at this seminar and just talk about, a lot of the questions that they may have around, Bitcoin and whatnot, and how that affects your taxes. So that'd be an idea.
Yeah. I know, because your primary market is Canadian and my primary market is American, as Cash FX, expands into the American market, there will be more overlap at that stage, but still, I know Canadians, Americans, so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I had a great one-on-one with Claudio. He was most generous with his time and his expertise. And I'm one of those, I don't want to get in trouble guys, So love to hear about it, Kelly.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I think with any business venture, there's a healthy amount of, due diligence, right? Involved.
Absolutely.
yeah, due diligence. And again, plant the seed, right? So plant the seed now, so that way when that, overlapping intersection happens, that you're already primed.
Yeah, my husband and I met with Kelly probably months ago, and she comes back up, and we have little, you guys can laugh at us if you want to, but we have little masterminds and board meetings and things, my husband and I together, which we find really fun, and for his company and my company and just our life overall. And Kelly comes up in the topic quite often, because it's still something we're looking at when and how we're going to incorporate, and we're taking careful steps too, all these
Sure.
things. Like we're like Barry, we don't want to get in any trouble, which is why I held off Claudia so long, because I love the concept, but I'm just wicked careful. And I'm excited that they're in America and in the US now, and we'll have to have another meeting. So that was good, because my husband was interested too.
Well, we're technically, I don't know where Jane or what she was saying, but nothing has really changed as far as being in the US yet. So maybe it's the way she worded it or whatever. However, I have very recently, like within the last week, and I'm just kind of testing the waters right now. There is another one that I've become part of. Now, I'm not going to take it away from CashFX, because I still see that long-term as being far better. But there's another one that it is open in Canada and the US. The difference is they're not trading just in Forex, they're trading cryptocurrencies as well, which allows them to be open in the States.
We're in a
So-
bunch of stuff. So we just started in Hyperfund. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, this is something totally different. But
Okay.
this one here, the average earnings is about 3.4% per week.
Hmm.
However, you can compound it every week. So every time you earn money,
Yeah.
every week you put it in. And I saw a spreadsheet on the difference, and wow.
So
Like,
Claudio, you have my calendar link. Book it again, will you, with us? Or can we maybe do a weekend again for just an hour or two? Or just an hour, so that you can show it to us, because my husband, I'd like him to be, because we're investing in tons of stuff.
well, you know what you can do, and this is something that my friend Peter kind of mentioned to me, and it makes a lot of sense. He's the one that introduced me to this one here. And what he's going to do is he's got money that he's earning from CashFX. He's already at a higher level. So, his income's, half decent. Every time he earns money from CashFX, he's putting it into this other one, which is compounding weekly. As soon as he has
Brilliant.
enough to do a next upgrade, he's switching it back over and putting it back into CashFX. So it's going to speed up the process on both ends.
Yeah, we're doing that for several things. My husband has got an artificial intelligence software that he's been using that create trading bots that have been making huge amounts of money. So we're taking some of that profit and putting it out. We're in multiple cryptocurrencies, multiple programs. And like I said, we just used some of our profit to start into Hyperfund. And I'd be interested. We have money to invest, so I'd be interested in learning about that, especially if we can compound it.
And you held off on all this when we were meeting earlier. Thank you, Jessica.
Well, we were talking about software and technology, not investment.
Yeah. Well, there's also, and in the crypto space, there's also a new thing coming called, one of the hot pieces is NFT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I'm actually long-term, my big plan is to incorporate gamification and NFTs directly into my online courses and my training material for my clients, because I think it'd be fun, but that's a longer term goal.
Right.
There's also a metaverse. And I heard some really interesting information about that. Boy, that's a bit of a mind bender, but it's like virtual land, virtual real estate that's being sold.
Mhm.
And from someone that knows a lot about this whole space, he actually says he actually mentioned a couple of different what would you call them, I guess, companies that are that are creating space within that virtual real estate. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And so the belief is that it's going to be like prime, because early adapters as far as prime real estate is concerned. So it's very, very interesting. I belong to an abundance intelligence group that we meet once a month. And so it's always kind of up on this new information and what it is that's going on in the crypto space. And then that's
Well,
where I heard
share the
about the
link for
taxes. in the
that.
States.
Yeah.
Share the
Yeah.
link
That
for
would
that
sound
group. What are you
super
holding
interesting.
out on us, Kate? What the heck?
So he's a spiritual guy. So just to give you a heads up, which is amazing. And that's actually one of the reasons that I really stand in a place of trust. I've been actually connected with him for a while, and it's a membership. So if it's something that you're interested in joining, then you can do that. We have a Telegram group that regularly communicates, and people, and there's from here to here as far as people that are familiar with crypto. So from the beginner to what he calls the crypto ninjas.
Yeah,
And
well, that's
oh,
my
nothing.
husband. I know that it exists and it's making us money. And my husband's the ninja, man. He's been studying the stuff since it's been out. He bought one of the original Bitcoins when it first came. Of course, he sold it before. He should have held on to it, but we've held on. He bought more, and we've held on to enough that it's been good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was introduced to it when it was $1.
oh my God, Kate.
And I lost the guy's contact info, and I used to tell people about it just in the, like, I didn't remember the name of it, but it was like, so it's like, well, you know what I would have done too, though, Jess, is if I would have gotten involved at that time, because I know what I know now and I know what I knew then, I would have sold it a long time ago. I'd have sold it when it was 10.
Yeah, he
Right?
he made some money on it, but he sold it too early, and then he bought more. But if he had the original, we'd be millionaires already, and I wouldn't be talking to you beautiful people. I'd be on a beach somewhere. Just kidding.
No, Jessica, you're a workaholic. It wouldn't matter how much money you had.
It's true.
Yeah, you'd just be from the beach, but you'd still be on here
That's true.
You'd be on your laptop at the beach, laptop
Yeah.
lifestyle.
with the baby.
I'm
Yeah.
curious. I mean, what about collaborating with the universe, right? And
Yeah.
that whole notion of co-creating. What are your thoughts on all that?
Oh, I feel like that's how I live my life. One of the things I say all the time, and every time I feel genuine energy from the universe. Every time I say it, when people are talking to me about things, I say, oh, I just leave the doors and the windows open all the time for opportunities and money to come in. So just keep all the windows and all the doors open. It just feels fabulous to say that.
I keep all
You
the
can
doors
feel
and
the
windows
breeze.
open to opportunity.
It's so cool.
Opportunity and abundance. Because I mean, that's the whole intention of us is actually prosperity creates prosperity when it's done in a non-corrupt fashion. It's like ridiculous that we've been living in that corrupt, broken system for so long that has taught us that it's impossible to, they've set it up so that it's like, now we're going to keep you small. So it's a fight, and it's not supposed to be like that. So I love that the world is actually breaking so that we can create this new world. And it's a wonderful time to be alive, really. It's, when you look at one side of the coin, of course, there's a huge amount of ugliness that is coming up. But as this breaking is happening, it's so important. And then for us to create the world that we want to see. And we create that parallel universe and remove ourselves from stop trying to win in that broken world, because it's crumbling and falling apart, is being in that space of that new creation. Kingdom of heaven down on earth, baby.
Speaking of doors, I've been to Nancy's house, and so she has 7 doors. I counted them all.
Into her house?
Like in her kitchen area, there's like 7 doors. Yeah, like lead out into the backyard, from what I remembered. So when one door closes, just another one opens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember, I think we had one of our subject matter experts come on and do a talk and like about the feng shui, right, of your home, and that your desk should be facing a door, because that's where opportunities walk through, right? Versus the window, opportunities that go through windows or walls, right? If you're facing the wall, like literally you're creating that block. Your head is beating against the wall, or your back is up against the wall. So I think having your office position or desk position facing the door is really a really good reminder.
Or if it's whatever beach you're on.
That too. Yes. Face the
You're
ocean.
open to
That's
all the
where
abundance, not the
the
ocean.
waves, yeah, the waves of our opportunity are flowing to you. Well, speaking of beaches, I mean, we are hosting, we're collaborating, Nancy and I, with Laura Armstrong, and she's coming to Florida in February.
That's
And
amazing.
so that will be at the beachside, and we're going to do a whole Leaders of Distinction workshop, and Laura's going to do some amazing training. So
Do you have a landing page for that yet?
it's in the works, so not yet, but that is something that's going to be really, really, I think, just tremendous, right? Well, number one, if you can come and meet us in person, and then we'll be at the beach for real and do what we usually do with leadership and training, you know, in live. Awesome. So one of the things I wanted to bring up is that sometimes, you know, two different, maybe just two different opposites, right, can also form amazing collaborations. So I was watching this show on Hulu about the foods that you eat, and it's hosted by David Chang, who I admire. He's like a big restaurateur, and he was talking about sushi and like the whole ecosystem around food and sustainability, fish farming, and all this is really fascinating. So if you have a chance to watch it, watch it. But there's a company called Wild Types. I'll put the link in the chat, and I would encourage you to look them up, because how this company got started is by a cardiologist and a diplomat. So talk about a collaboration. I mean, they are two seemingly different ideas, different, you know, fields of work altogether, but they came together. Arye Elfenbein is the cardiologist, and Justin Kolbach is a diplomat. And so as a cardiologist, Arye was really involved with like stem cell research, and Justin Kolbach, you know, just of his international relations background, you know, traveling the world and seeing like the lack of food security in many places. So they've come together, and they're using like cellular methods to grow salmon. It's really fascinating. So, I mean, I'm intrigued to learn more about this and follow this company and see what they do. And on the show itself, like they actually went and like, you know, sampled, right, the Wild Type salmon sushi. And according to the host, I mean, it tasted just like the real thing. So, you know, we're talking about this new world and the crypto space and like virtual real estate, and then, you know, tied into that, like also food, like our sources of food, etc. And so I thought that was just like fascinating to me to find that these two people could come together and just combine their knowledge and expertise and grow a company to generate this whole new movement around like food sustainability. So I'll put their names here in the chat for you as well. And I took a page from Jessica's book, because I, you know, listened to all of her ideas, because what she does is, you know, really, really crucial too. So if Jessica finds like an app or the company that she really likes, like she'll hunt that person down, like the CEO or the founder of that app on LinkedIn. So I was like, you know what, let me see if these people are on LinkedIn. And sure enough, they are. So Arya and Justin are on LinkedIn, and I looked them up, and I'm, you know, I'm not gonna like, you know, stalk them right away, but you know, when you're making a new connection like that, you follow them, right? So you don't connect, but you hit the follow button. So follow allows you to kind of like see their activity, what they're up to, get to know them, etc. And then when the time is right, you know, maybe even just comment, right? Comment on some of their posts, or kind of just read up a little bit further research on what they're doing. And then you send a connect message, because when you send a connect message and it's hyper personalized to what you wanted to say, it's more likely to be accepted and received, right? And so definitely I'm crafting my connect message. I want to like, you know, just rave about their company and the episode I saw on Hulu, and then just maybe tying in something that I saw on a LinkedIn profile. But it's amazing. I mean, I feel that, you know, LinkedIn has, of course, I'm going to brag on LinkedIn, has so many opportunities for you just to make connections like that and really expand your network in that way. And just pay attention, right? Pay attention to things that are happening around you, people that you're meeting, things that you're reading about, and see if they're on LinkedIn, and you can follow them further. So yeah, so thank you, Jessica. You're in my ear.
How about you're welcome and I'm sorry. I mimic what you do, Olivia, with the getting something personal. But I'll tell you, just being a raving fan about their episode or their book or whatever, I don't wait a long time. I don't. I mean, I do follow. I don't. I guess I follow people sometimes, but usually I just gather the intel I need to send the personal message and send it. Because I know me, if I wait too long, I won't do it. So I'm a take action now person, but I do agree with what you say. And I find some way to, I either tell them I really love their book and what I love about it, or I really love something I saw and what I love about it, not just a, hey, that was a great post. I do say something personal. And typically if you're complimenting someone, they always connect because people love to be complimented.
Indeed, indeed. Because I think sometimes, I don't think I would have ever done that before, taking that step to just look up someone and connect with them like that, because it seemed like they're so inaccessible. But I'm an entrepreneur now. So it's just, I'm an entrepreneur. I respect other entrepreneurs and I want them in my network. Excellent. All right. And so I guess, for those of us who are unfamiliar with JVology, what is that all about? Jessica, you had signed up recently. Like, how does that structure? Like, what do they do in JVology?
They have
I've heard of the name before, but, not quite sure.
They
how
have
match
some
people up.
great summits and things like that too. But really, they have they have networking events and summits, and then they have a huge directory. And the directory is really fascinating because as extensive as and it's fantastic, by the way, our membership site is amazing because it does take in so much more than most other sites do. And the only one I've ever seen beat it is JVology, because they are looking at what kind of joint venture partners are ideal for you. And they ask things like, what kinds of things do you want to have other people promote for you? And what kinds of things are you willing to promote? And like, it gets like, you could scan through someone's profile on there and exactly whether or not it's good for you to have a one-on-one call with them or not. Like, instead of just reaching out to everyone to try to get to know everyone, to try to figure out, to weed through, to figure out who you really want to meet with, this directory does it for you. And the annual membership was so reasonable. I was just like, well, this makes perfect sense. And I think they're approaching 1,500 members. So it's, a really, and it's global. So for me, with launching the new course and my annual membership, one of my main goals for 2022 is more affiliates that will, market and help me with getting the word out there about my class and my annual membership. So in this space, these people are also in that mindset and trained that way. So like, if I just go to a standard, any kind of, so I'm really being more strategic about what groups I'm keeping. This group has become part of my family, so this group stays. And, but some other groups I can let go because it's just networking. And this is more targeted networking for what I'm trying to achieve. And so if you have something that, these people, they're all about, okay, is there an affiliate link and is there a referral program and how can you promote my stuff and I'll promote yours, so that we're doubling our efforts in everything we do. And I think if it's like the compound thing Claudia was talking about. If we have the ability to compound our efforts and our time and our posting and all of that stuff, then why wouldn't we do it?
That is excellent. And I, didn't think about that before. Affiliates, right? So having affiliates to your programs and promoting on your behalf is also another type of collaboration.
Yeah. And I do have an affiliate link for the JVology thing. So at some point,
put that in the chat.
I'm gonna say at some point I'll share that, but I'm juggling. So I might email it. Can I email it to you, Olivia, to share, or with the whole email? And I know occasionally Nancy does an email list to everybody or something, because my hands are full and I've got to go find it.
Stacy, how long have you been in JVology, and what kind of business have you generated from that too?
Well, JVology is actually the first big group like that I actually was involved in since 2019. I was able to go to JVology Live in Calgary in September 2019 before we all locked down. And the process and that, I call it a very large family. And it, the one thing about it is the way that group feels literally is from top down the way Jay does things. Having met him in person more than once, and he's that way in a one-on-one in-person thing as much as he is on screen. He's just real.
Yes.
And he, so that was probably the best thing I did for my business in 2019 was go to that. 2020 was being on the marketers cruise, partly with that whole group of people. They're actually all right now getting ready to get on the marketers cruise again. And I put my reservation up for the next one instead. I moved my reservation to the next one. I'm supposed to have been getting on that boat this week, but I just couldn't chance it with COVID. Even though I'm triple vaccinated, I just couldn't do it. But yeah, I would say it's one of the best groups out there.
I forgot to say, one of the other things that really was the kicker for me was there's several JV groups out there in the world right now, a lot of networking groups that are focused on the JV concept. And what I love about it is they are collaborating and partnering with many of them. Like the collaboration and the partnership you could see of exact other joint venture groups like them was so impressive to me. So I now not only have access to them, but I also have access to a lot of the other joint venture groups that are out there. And it's okay. And the relationships with those people, it's very warm and snuggly because of how the leadership thinks and how they've designed the program. So I just
it's not competition. It's
so impressed with
additional
that.
collaboration.
Yes, so impressed with that because now I feel like I've expanded myself so much further than this 1,500 people that are in their personal database. And I've met with Mark, David, and I'm meeting with Jay Facette. He's on my calendar. He saw me speak at something else, reached out to me and had his assistant schedule time on my calendar personally. So I really feel like so awesome, and I'm not trying to sell it. I don't care if you join or don't join or, use my link, don't use my link. But what I'm saying is that is what excited me. And that's what the feeling is here, right? We're constantly looking about how can we pull that in? How can we make money as a co-op together on that concept? How can we join the co-op so that we all share the co-ops link and then we're all making money on the same thing instead of competing, which is what's, Stacy, that's the part about this group I would love Olivia to share a bit if she has time, just because that's one of the most brilliant things about this group and why I originally was so drawn to the concept, and now I just love all the people. So,
and I love she used the word co-optition. The first time I heard that word was at a first robotics competition. They use that concept and teach the kids in robotics. They teach them co-optition, which is awesome.
Yeah, because I mean, when we have an abundance mindset, abundance intelligence, right? There's enough of it to go around. And, Jessica's in LinkedIn, I'm in LinkedIn, but we have two different approaches and styles, and it's okay.
We all have our
learned-
peeps. We all have our peeps.
And, I learn as much from her as she does from me. And I think it's, very, very, very cool that we can.
There's
and
a
then there's
book.
multiple health and wellness entrepreneurs in our group as well, too. And that's okay, too, because we represent, different brands or different services. So, yeah, don't be afraid of collaboration because of competition, right? Think of it as a way to cooperate, competition. How to Be a Power Connector. Thank you, Stacy, for that reference. Yeah, we're always looking for a good book.
It is an amazing book. It's on Audible as audio, so I would suggest it on audio if you have a chance. Jessica, you are a power connector already. you will resonate well with the way she describes that. And I suspect many of you in here are actually already are in that category and will resonate with that. And obviously that's not a link or an affiliate link. It's just an idea. Good stuff comes out of my head.
Well, we appreciate the stuff coming out of your head today. Wonderful. And Nancy, I mean, I met Nancy through, and I mean, I didn't know her before, and it's amazing what the Zoom world has brought us together. And I know it's through a networking event, and she was the queen of that room, of our Zoom room. So I was naturally gravitated towards her. Excellent, wonderful. So I was thinking next of, you know, Barry, is there anyone that you want to get in front of, or like, are you allowed to, you know, do presentations or present? Like, what would be a good collaboration project for you?
Say that last sentence a little slower. I was getting my microphone on. The last sentence you said.
What would be a good collaboration project for you, right? To kind of help you, because I know you do a lot of one-on-ones, but is there something that you could, you know, do on a larger scale?
Yeah, I've never seen that. And that has to, everybody else knows Stacy. So if you're not familiar with Melaleuca, we're not multi-level marketing. We have a lot of agreements not to advertise.
Right.
Not.
I was involved in Melaleuca for a bit.
Great.
I'm very
Have you
familiar.
back as a customer.
We don't use anything. That's why we got out.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but it's good stuff. It had nothing to do with the quality, because the quality is great.
Thank you. So, you know, Olivia, week by week, it's just I get what I can here, and everybody is so professional that I look to see how I might do it with my guidelines. Simple as that.
Have you thought about maybe just getting on podcasts and just speaking about your own story? So that way they get to know you, and then they could possibly see, oh, you're also part of Melaleuca. And then, you know, maybe instead of Melaleuca introducing you, you introduce yourself as Barry, you know, what you've been through.
Yeah, I'll just put it this way, haven't figured that out yet. Whether it's my age or mentality or lack of that type of professional experience.
You could join groups, groups that communities that support each other with diabetes, and you could share your story and your experience with diabetes, right?
Yeah, but how many times do you want to hear that?
Well,
Y'all have heard it more than once.
You could share it with those different communities. Do you know how many communities come together, and groups come together on Facebook and LinkedIn and all kinds of places where they're just a community to support one another. So it's not, I heard once, one of my favorite people is Lisa Sasevich. And one of her lines is, don't change your story, change your audience, right? You build a signature talk, and you have your gift, your skill. You know, you guys have heard me and Olivia say a lot of the same things too. I mean, but we build our relationships in our community who hear the same story. You know, you're hearing some of the same story from us, but really it's, for me, I'm constantly going out and finding new audiences who've never heard my story before. And I think you need to find your target market that will appreciate that story so much. And I think that's those communities of people who are loving and supporting each other with recipes and encouragement and success, trying to deal with whatever form of diabetes they have, because you have a success story with that. You're not giving medical license to Melaleuca. You're not, you know, breaking any of the rules. This is your story with this experience, right? And that would bring a lot of comfort and hope and encouragement to different communities. And you could also share recipes and share ideas, and, you know, because you've been there. You have something that none of us in this room, well, I don't at least have with that topic. And I think it's one of the most profound sellers of I know you don't sell anything, of the product, where people can then begin to think differently and shop differently because something huge is moving them to change their habit. Moving people's habits and how they do things, how they shop, how they whatever, is one of the biggest challenges for not just your company, but lots of other companies similar to your company. Even the shop.coms of the world and the places where you can get discounts, shopping at the same stores you already shop at, just doing it differently. It's the doing it differently part that's really hard, because when people do something a certain way, that's how they do it. And so one of the biggest things you're actually, your biggest sales challenge truly is getting the people to change their habits. Because that's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, and what most people don't realize is that what you see online and what you see on television and hear on the radio are entities that have copied what we have created. If you go back to Amazon and Netflix, what they have created now is copying our way to make products available to people. And they make no bones about it.
Right.
All the,
Right.
all the cosmetic ads that you see, we've had them for ages, and they're just found our success and using it themselves. So I do hear you. Maybe I should get out more and move around more.
Yeah, and I love what Jessica suggested too. I mean, look for those specific groups on Facebook, those support groups, with the people
Right.
with conditions like the diabetes, and just make a friend, Barry, right? And so just get inside the group, kind of poke around, see who's there, and maybe there's a post in there that will, catch your
Well,
attention.
Yeah, because that is such a severe thing. It makes people change their habits, right? Because they have this severe challenge and fear for themselves, their family, whatever reason they've joined the community. Maybe they're not diabetic. They join the community because their spouse is, or their kid is, or their sister is, and they have such a fear that moves people to make a change. Sometimes you've got to get your pants scared off to make you change your habits.
That's the way we as humans are, the shit has to hit the fan, because we run faster away from pain than we do towards pleasure or doing something good for ourselves. That is human nature, unfortunately. So sometimes you can just ask somebody to hit you over the head with a hammer, but that's
And just ask questions, Barry, right? You're not going to hammer them right away with, hey, I'm this and I'm that, but just ask deeper questions, which you always do anyway. And you just kind of, be there for them. And then over time, when the time is right, you can tell them your story.
Yeah. And the thing is, from my own experience of actually working with people that don't feel well for as many years as I did, is that they're really stuck. So how to soften the resistance is really asking the questions like, well, what's your state about wanting to change how you feel? And how important is it to you on a scale of 1 to 10? And when the answer comes out of somebody's mouth about all of the reasons that they can't change, then you leave that be. Right? But when that person is at that place, right? Because when it's always 12 o'clock at some point in time for someone, right? But then as opposed to us repeating our story that falls on deaf ears and people that aren't ready for you, you're actually asking them and qualifying qualifying whether you should go any further and whether they really do want help and they're open to it. But then that's a difficult thing to be, because when you know what you have is so powerful, you just want to shout it from the rooftops, and you can't figure out why people can't hear you. Right? And so there's a joy in sharing, because you're like, but this is what I've experienced and it's so amazing. So you just want to make sure you are. So that's a way to speak to the right audience, being in a present state and being in the group is great. And then spending your time with the people that really want change.
Yep.
So,
You know, so many people, and I've been a customer for over 20 years. I haven't been quote unquote marketing for nearly that long, because I always have the philosophy that if I work for somebody, they get me 100% of the time. So I didn't do it for many of those years. But when I hear about people, you know, when they really talk to you, and you know, the kids are having allergy problems, or the parents are having breathing problems, and you just point out that, well, it may just be the stuff that you use in your bathroom or your kitchen, your laundry, and you can actually take care of that, not having it in your home anymore. For less money, take care of the environment at the same time. It's so hard to hear, because probably you and I don't know everybody that intimately, you and I probably, like me, were brought up on Clorox and 409 and all the other things that my grandma used to clean the house. And because of that, they don't realize, they don't connect the dots.
no.
And then take it personal. So that's the message that I want. You know, there might be something out there. You know, so many, and I'm talking about literally hundreds of the companies that were quote unquote green are now owned by the conglomerates.
Yep.
And guess what? The stockholders want profit out of them.
Yeah.
So they're not as pure as they used to be. You know, simple green is 150 ounces for 96 loads at 30 cents a load. Ours is 32 ounces for the same number of loads for 18 cents a load. And no preservatives, which they have now put into theirs. So that's what I like.
Yeah, and very like what you said just now, just like really, captured me, because you said some of the green companies are now bought up by the conglomerates. So like I would drink coconut water, right? Zico coconut water, and it was just like fabulous. And then to find out in the back end, like Coca-Cola
Sold out.
owns that. Like, what?
Yeah, Tom's just sold out, and my husband and I were both pissed about that, and we've
The
changed.
toothpaste, Tom's?
Yes,
No,
sold out.
Yep.
that sucks, man. Who bought them?
Barry knows, maybe, I don't know.
I'm
heard
looking for
about it.
keep talking. I'm looking for that.
Oh, so that's when collaborations go wrong.
They sold
That
out,
is so
man. They
bad.
sold out to the big man.
For the man.
For the big bucks.
Kind of saw that coming, because they were becoming more and more accepted in mainstream.
Yeah.
And as people become more accepted in mainstream, and then like the big guys, it's like, wow, you know what? We'll just give them enough money, they'll sell. They'll sell.
Everybody has a number.
Yeah,
Almost everybody has a
unfortunately.
number.
I was going to say
I
almost.
hate to say it. But I might have a number too.
Yeah, but does it matter to you who's buying you?
I don't know.
To me,
Really?
it would.
Oh, that's a very interesting
Maybe.
question.
Well, and does it matter if you're selling you or if you're selling something you created? Because you can always go and create something else new too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I think that, yeah, absolutely. You have to.
I'm just being
generally
honest,
speaking,
Kate.
you're signing a non-compete agreement for a specific number of years, but I don't know. I think it would matter to me who I was selling, and
Or
the
if you
agreement.
refuse to do that part, I'm not going to non-compete with that. I'll sell my old stuff that not going to do anymore, not going to use anymore. You can buy that. You can't buy me or the stuff that is my life passion. You can't buy this. Not selling it.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
I
but you
think if
can
it's a
buy the old
product,
version.
I think if it's a product and there's something in writing in the contract saying that the formula will never be changed.
Yeah, I don't think
And
Tom
if-
did that. I think they've changed the formula. I think they're
Yeah.
poisoning the
Then they
purity.
sold out.
Yeah, they sold out.
They didn't just sell, they sold out.
Yeah.
What?
Natural products that have
Speech?
sold out, isn't that an interesting word, eh?
Bird
Now, can
species.
you
Bird
see my
species?
screen now?
That's so sad. Naked
Wow.
juice.
What, bird
Clorox?
Naked juice is owned by Pepsi. That's awful. Bare Naked Kellogg's. Oh, I'm out.
Honest tea, but yeah.
This is obviously a very small list, but a lot of the well-known brands up at the top, like Gatsby, Seventh Generation Palms, as Jess was talking about. And
Renew
literally, there are hundreds of them now.
Well, and then all of those on bought out by, those could probably be compacted down to those actually are probably about 2 to 3 big corporations on the, you know,
Okay,
like they
yeah.
can, they're all actually conglomerated together and really have almost everything.
Can we just discuss that Unilever is the poison of the world? I make sure I try not to buy anything from you that's processed by Unilever because, or whatever, however you say their stupid name, because the poisons they put in their crap, you know, down to arsenic and everything else. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you do research
let-
on them, do research on them. It's ugly.
Listen, you've heard
What's
me
in a hot
say,
dog? It's like, what's in a hot dog? You never want to eat a hot dog.
in the United States, the FDA bans 11 components of personal care products. It's the stuff that we put on our bodies. In Europe, it's 1,300, last number I knew was 1,371 components. We comply with the European because we're all around the world. I know we don't talk politics here, but that's a place where our government can make a bigger difference in taking care of us. And I'm sure you have it in Canada, the Canadians that are here.
Wow. Yeah. So all the more reason to just surround yourself with
Kate's
people.
laughing.
Barry, what was the last part of that you said?
Are you talking about the numbers?
No, I got that part. It was the very end of that.
No, I'm saying that I'm not making a political statement as an American about one party or another. It's our entire government isn't doing anything about taking care of our people in our country, and I'm sure that Canadians have the same problem.
It's our responsibility to
I
take
don't
care
know
of
your-
ourselves.
I don't know your numbers.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's similar.
We
Yeah, but
went,
I still
you know
think
what we
it'd be
did is
good.
we went the wrong way. We actually got brainwashed into thinking that the government's supposed to take care of us.
Yeah.
And really what we need to do is we need to make sure that they're actually bending to our wishes because they're voted in, they're supposed to be voted in by us. And that it is our responsibility to stand for what we believe in and also to take care of ourselves. And I
Yeah,
think
but I
that we
think there
really
should be
kind of
some rules.
messed that up. What's
Well,
that?
I've always heard that Canada does have strict guidelines though, because I used to be with a health and wellness company as well. And there were several products that were available to sell in the States, but not up here. One of them was a combination of 6 different ingredients, all from mushrooms that help boost your immune system. And individually, they were all accepted up here in Canada, but because they had never studied the 6 of them combined, we couldn't get it up here. And it was a phenomenal product.
Yeah.
Well,
What did
and
you smoke? What did you smoke them in?
Right?
It was capsules.
I think in Canada, they actually, what they do is they block products that really work well. And
Yeah,
they make it
seems
really
like it.
difficult for the health and wellness companies to bring really good product in. If you're selling juice, it's easy to get across the border.
Yeah, but in the same breath, in the United States, the known poisons are getting added to things we put on our body and even in our food sometimes. And
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
think
that's constantly happens in Canada. constantly.
Yeah, and that I think that Barry's right. I think there should be something that keep the manufacturers who make food and things that go on or in our bodies should be free of at least a certain list of poisons. You know what I mean? Like maybe not be the complete big brother and control the whole works. I get that. But, you know, because some people, just because you and I have this level of emotional intelligence and knowledge about health and our body and things like that, doesn't mean everybody out there does. Someone who's just trying to make it is going to buy the cheapest stuff on the shelf and put it on and do whatever with it. And I feel like somebody's got to protect those people, you know?
Yeah, but
So-
the government's not there. The government's not there to support us anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, that's kind of the harsh truth.
Now, listen, some of the things that I'm going to go with cosmetics that you see on the television, the fancy name that rings in the ear is just sprinkled in so that they can say it, as opposed to the amount that's needed. It needs to be poured in so it really does what it's supposed to.
Mhm.
And that jar is 100 and some, 200 and some. La Prairie is one supposedly of the best, close to $500 for a little jar.
I'm not buying that
Crazy.
stuff. It's
Crazy.
clear.
Wouldn't touch that baby with it.
I wouldn't touch that baby with it.
Wow, I appreciate this discussion so much. I'm really and that's what happens when we get talking. So and everyone has, you know, such a diverse perspective. And
So
I really
I'm
agree.
going to ask a question then, Olivia, and I am interrupting.
Go for
Given you got me started. Those conversations I can have out of my knowledge, but I can't go on and promote that way. I can show that list of all the re-owned companies. I can't go into what to do and how they do it, and because I honor the, you know, the comment of, geez, if you're with I don't know, if you're with Mary Kay, you don't hit on Oil of Olay, right? You don't complain about the two of them. So I don't, that's one of my challenges. Yes, and very simply, for virtually everything that we have, and we manufacture over 400 unique products, over 750 if you count flavors and colors. Many tested best in the world. 100, last number I knew was 147 patents and patent pending. 4 times the effectiveness inside the body for our supplements, whereas virtually everyone else tests the components outside the body separately, like you were talking about before. I think Jess was talking about that. That, you know, you put them all together, or no, Claudia was talking, you put them all together and they did the mushrooms and they haven't been tested and who knows whether they work or not. That's my dilemma. I don't want you to figure it out. I don't want to take your time doing that, but that's my dilemma, that integrity.
Indeed, but I think if the other person brings it up, right, then you can talk about it. You don't have to necessarily bring it up first.
I think he's
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to, in a more like, you know, speaking on summits or speaking on podcasts or in a bigger, like making posts or putting it out there at a larger, like throwing casting a larger net. He's trying to figure out how to do it appropriately from that standpoint, because the one-on-one conversations, I don't think it's a problem at all for
Yeah,
Barry.
listen, and when Nancy invited me to do the 10 minutes at the, what is it, beginning of August, when it was Health and Wellness Month, that was an invitation of people who knew what I was going to be talking about. And yes, I did get specific on a lot of that stuff.
Mhm.
But I'm going to say it this way, you may or may not have been there, but on your invitation. So that way I can do it. But when I go out and do general networking, no. What I'm doing on my live networking and the groups that I go to on a regular basis, I can literally do it in about 45 seconds. I can't do it in 40 seconds, but I take a different product every time. I've got one sentence at the beginning, one sentence at the end, and in the middle, I'll take the one product and say what that is, and I'll go inside the body and outside the body and home care and whatever, next week I'm doing essential oils. And all I'm going to do is take a nice box that I have from the company with about 50 essential oils inside of it, and then have my list that shows the different pricing. If they want to see it, they'll come over and see it. I'm not going to say, since this is this group, I'm not going to say, well, doTERRA costs this and another one costs that and Caves costs this, and I'm not going to say that. They can come over and look if they'd like to, and I'll have them there if they want to open a bottle and smell it. But I do point out that our essential oils, because we're worldwide and our farms are worldwide, are regulated by the International Standards Organization, ISO. I don't care about the FDA because they don't really do anything. For Canadians, that's the federal, what is it, FDA?
Federal drug.
Federal Drug Administration, right.
Drug Administration.
They don't do anything with it. So I'll say it that way.
Well, this has been awesome. I've got a dash, but I love all of you. And Kate, I'll be in touch with you, and Claudia and I are messaging, and everybody be well and be wonderful. And it's been great hearing more about your stuff, Barry. And hopefully we gave you some suggestions that help, because I adore you and I want you to have all the clients that your heart desires. So I'll see you, everybody, and I'll stay in touch.
Jessica, we need
And
And as
another.
you know, I'm out here for everybody too.
I know, Stacy, we need more time. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Oh,
See you later.
Stacy, you should totally share with them, Olivia, if it's okay. She has I know it's not the time to share apps this time, but she told me one. What about the last one about the note?
Yeah,
Yes,
let me
tell
go
them
get it.
about that one. You'll love it. And it's free. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, go, Nana.
Right, Grandma. Let me find my link for this one. It's a free Chrome extension, and it connects up with your calendar. You can make pre-made agenda meeting notes, as well as it opens on, when you open a new tab, it opens it. So like any meeting that I have that was pre-scheduled, like Jessica and I had pre-scheduled meeting this morning. And so then I took the chat and instead of just saving the chat, you grab the whole chat, copy it, and paste it back into your meeting notes there. Then you'll know where you'll be able to find them.
Oh, okay.
So it keeps them. So then instead of searching all over your computer for it, you're like, oh, it was that meeting that day. Here's the notes. And then if you select it, you can actually make a task list out of those notes. You select something and then click task, and it creates a task for it. So
Like
you can
call Claudia, or,
I'm sorry?
email, like a task, like call Claudia or email Kate, something like that.
Yeah. And then it connects up with Trello and Zoom also.
Interesting.
So I have all sorts of that's what I do. When I see software, I can, especially new software. I love playing with the new toys. But
What software is that? Or what
I'm
app is
sorry?
that? What is
That
that
one was-
app?
that particular one is a Chrome extension called Hugo, Hugo, and I put the link in the chat for it. But any kind of software, I see the new software and I go, oh, that's what that's going to do for us in the next 5, 10, 20 years, whatever. I mean, I saw the stuff we're doing now 20 years ago with the software that was out. And that's just kind of one of my magic tricks. But I don't just say I'm a technology therapist. I actually am a clinical social worker by profession, trade, and practice of 25 years. And then of 15 years as a public health practitioner, and a geek girl of 40 plus years. And my first computer was a this is a half size version of it, Commodore 64 in the late 70s.
I
So,
want to take a screenshot of that. Hold it up again,
oh,
Stacy.
hang on. Let me get it to where, yeah, there you go.
Right. Hang on one second here.
That's
That's
how
precious.
that's how I created my formula. It's its own presentation. If you want to hear about it, it's on my podcast, and the podcast can be found in the app Technology Therapist. So
You bring up a good point. Like learning to use technology is a form of collaboration, right? And what a difference it makes when you get a new skill and the apps are working and that they can be integrated into your business. It takes time.
and what I
to
love to do is when people are terrified of technology. That's my thing is because I bring in my therapist self and I help people when they're concerned, people who are terrified of technology or they don't know what systems are going to work for them. Those are kind of areas of my jam. But then I teach this formula in coaching, which is a work-life balance formula. So
very cool. Yeah, Claudia.
Yeah, I've got another, it just came to mind actually. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. It's another potential collaboration that I'm actually working on. And it actually is with Jessica. Now it does revolve around CashFX, and I know where she stands with that right now, but the idea I threw out at her, and this could apply for several different types of companies, is she's got a huge network. She's got teams that do all the social media and sales and marketing, whatever. She could put together a very simple program to create a sales funnel and funnel everybody down to me. And I would onboard them all. So I would go through the presentation and signing them up and placing them all, and they would all get placed under her. So she would only have to do an initial setup of an email campaign or however she wants to do it. And everybody would be sent to me, and then I would put everybody under her. She could create a massive team without having to do more than a couple hours work at the beginning of it, and then never have to worry about it again.
Claudia, I
So-
think you and I need to speak about this same idea. I'm interested.
Absolutely.
Let me know how to chat with you about that, because I am interested. I love connecting people. And I'm, like I said, Jessica and I chase each other all over the interwebs.
I'll put my contact info here in the chat so you can save it. And
Claudio, if I had known that, would have been sending you people. I'm on Claudio's team, so.
well, maybe we can talk with that, the big one that you had there that you were talking to.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting with them next week.
Awesome. Yeah, there's like I said, that I'm not sure if that would help you much, Barry, because I know yours is a little bit more sensitive, but you can imagine how many different types of network marketing companies or other companies that have some kind of a sales campaign or a sales campaign can be created for them and just put it out there to the masses.
Claudio, I just had another idea that was really huge, actually. The software I resell a software that people can use that it's the best CRM software I've ever found, ever. And I like it so much, I bought an agency copy of it and resell it. It would be an amazing software for people to use for exactly what you're talking about, not to mention even the rest of their business. And they could run all that through there. And I do affiliate for people selling the software as well.
Yeah.
So I'd love to talk to you about
Let's
that
definitely
one.
connect. So yeah, you've got my info there. We
Yeah, I've got it.
Set up a
I
call
pulled the
and
link up.
Claudia, talk to her and then talk to me.
Yep.
No, I'm serious, because Claudio knows more of what I do and who I am.
Yeah.
I know you've heard some this morning, Stacy,
Yeah,
but he can connect the dots, because I
Gotcha.
get a lot of people who give me a pat on the back while I'm with them, not referrals. So if I could get referrals alive, and by the way, I have a number of Canadian customers, so I'm not excluding anybody here. I'd even go around the world if I had to. But if you could figure out how it could be valuable, love to hear about it, Claudio.
Yeah.
Stacy, thanks for when you
I was thinking actually the communication level, the base level of the software I redo, it would be perfect for what you do. For staying in contact and keeping those leads hot.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, and not just because you're here, Barry, but I mean, I know several people in Melaleuca. I've been approached many, many times by many people. Unfortunately, our household just wouldn't be able to sustain purchasing enough to make it worth. However, the point I'm trying to make is because of how Barry approached it and how we had that, great conversation, I would go to him above anybody else that I've met with, because everybody else was, I had one guy when I told him that, well, honestly, I wouldn't be able to purchase enough, $70, $80 worth a month to be able to do it month after month. You know what he told me? Well, buy it and give it away. Like, those are people that I don't want to have anything to do with. So, that's why.
That's exactly what we don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the integrity of the company that I'm proud to be associated with.
I was
And
just going to
that's why I
say
would
that
go with
shows
you.
your integrity right there.
Yeah, and that's why I would go with you above anybody else, because I mean, the other people weren't maybe as hard sell as this one here, but every one of them was out to sell. Where you were just explaining, you were sharing like we're supposed to do.
Sure.
So I appreciated that, Barry.
Yeah, and I would refer people to you all day long to learn about the products and such because of that integrity alone.
Yep.
Because that's like my number one, when you like stack your values, if you've got to put one all the way at the top, integrity is the one for me.
Absolutely.
It goes all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly how I am.
People say, well, it's got to be a pyramid. And I say, fine, tell me any entity that doesn't have somebody at the top. Whether it's your religion, whether it's your government, whether it's your company, it all looks like this. It's how this works together in partnership.
You know what I love saying to people? If this was a pyramid scheme, we would have been shut down years ago. We've been open for 40 years or 20 years or whatever. We're legal. We're not a pyramid scheme.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm involved in numerous MLMs. I don't promote any of them as a business. My business is my coaching business, and then the software I resell, and then referrals out to other things. One of the things I'm an MLM for is a thing called a Healy. It's a frequency healing device.
Yeah.
I tell people about it when it comes up in conversation. I do scans and send frequencies to anybody who wants them, just because I paid for the device. It helped me with my health. That's all that I was worried about. Can I resell it? Yes. Do I? If somebody wants to, yeah, I'll give them my affiliate link. I'm not going to lie about that, but I'm not going to push it because that's not my thing.
Listen, I've got people who have been customers for a very long time. They've never done what I call a virtual tour, a presentation, overview, whatever you want to call it. But if I do it for them, it's their customer. And yes, Melaleuca sends them a check. We've only put out $6.5 billion. People like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
I have plenty of people who do that. I don't care. That's what my job is, to take care of.
Well,
so thank you for listening to me that way.
But Barry, what's interesting is the person that brought me into Melaleuca, that was her quote unquote promise to me, but that was not her practice. And it was not, I ended up like feeling like I had to buy a certain amount every month. And my family can't sustain buying any of it a month. I've got Melaleuca sitting in the other room that we're still using. We have more than plenty here, because it's so good. That's the deal, but how much Melaleuca can use between two people, even replacing everything in your house that you use,
Well, here, I'm going to answer that question the way I would answer it if we were having a conversation. Given the 400 plus products that we manufacture, just take a look. And like I said to Claudio, doesn't work for you. I appreciate it if you find somebody it might work for. But let's take a look and see. It's simple as that.
Yeah. And that's what I do in general. Is like, now that I've met you and heard about, so I know Kelly's in, finance and tax. I know that Claudio's in, I'm going to find out more about what he's in. I know Olivia's got LinkedIn. I know you've got, and I've got my Rolodex is filling up. And that when I have somebody, in the next thing I do, and it's like, there's a connection. That's why I like that Power Connector book.
You know what Marilyn
It's like,
Monroe
that's
is
exactly
also.
what I do all day.
I have to run, everyone. Have a great
All
weekend.
right.
Bye.
Seeing
Bye,
y'all.
Claudia.
Stacy,
has been
great
a
meeting
really
you, and I
great-
can't wait to hear more, guys.
Olivia, I pulled the webpage up about the group, and I will look at it some more to find out the details and everything.
Thanks. Yeah, so we allow visitors to come twice. So I'd love you to come back next week when we go into week 2 about tips, tools, and resources, because I think you'll have a lot to add. And then on meetmyreferralpartners.com, you go to the join tab. We offer monthly, quarterly, and yearly memberships. So take a look.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me come by. And I put the best way to get me, I'll put it in here again. Just the best way to get me really is download my app and then connect with me through there. It's just because it has everything. It's almost like instead of having a what do they call it, link tree, I have a full-on app. So I just tell people about my app, and it's technology therapist. It's easier to find than spelling Brioca. So
I
Great.
love that. That is awesome.
everyone.
yep.
Well,
Nice
thank
to
you
meet
everyone
everybody.
for showing up today and participating in this lively discussion. And have a wonderful weekend. And we'll be back next week on Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday. Take care.
Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you. Nice to meet you, Stacy. And Kate, we need to meet sometime.
Yes, we do.